Well, Mary Kay, the final day of Browns training camp that was open to the public today here in Berea, and we got to see some fireworks with Jarvis Landry. We're going to get to that. Let's talk about the preseason game coming up on Friday. Browns starters expected to play a little bit more than they did in the first game, and it's going to give us a good opportunity to kind of see how these guys are growing together.
Yeah, so the first team offense, it will be Tyrod Taylor starting out there. He'll get way more than the first two series that he got in the last game. So I would expect that he'll play maybe into the second quarter this time, I would guess. I don't know if he'll play the whole entire first half, but he will play probably 4 or 5 series. So that'll be good for him in the first team offense. Then Baker will come in, and he wants to see plenty of Baker again. However, he did say he wants to see Drew Stanton, the third team quarterback, the longtime veteran. And then we asked him, why would you want to see Drew Stanton? And he said because he has not made a decision yet on whether or not Drew or Baker would replace Tyrod early on in the season in the event that he goes down.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment. It kind of stood out. Everybody has sort of assumed it's going to be Baker Mayfield. I'm not willing to jump off of that bandwagon just yet. But yeah, we'll get a good look at the first team offense as they lead into that dress rehearsal game the following Thursday night against the Eagles. Now, going back to Landry, had a great one-handed catch today. Was screaming towards the fans, threw the ball into the stands. It got everybody going, and it's kind of been contagious for this receiving corps.
It really has. Now you look out there and you see other guys catching the ball one-handed. I've seen Rashard Higgins do it recently. I've seen David Njoku do it recently. And so it's starting to become a little bit of a thing. And it has been probably the highlight of this camp for the fans as they've come out here.
And lastly, of course, Hard Knocks last night. Todd Haley was really kind of the standout. We saw all sides of Haley in that. And of course, a week earlier, we saw him and Hugh Jackson kind of go back and forth about players' days off. We got to hear from Todd Haley today. What kind of stood out to you?
Well, first of all, he says, of course, that he and Hugh Jackson are on the same page. Hugh's the boss, and he defers to Jackson on everything. And like Freddie Kitchens, the running backs coach, said yesterday, that thing looked way worse, on TV than it really is. It was much ado about nothing. So that was one thing. Then he also talked about Baker Mayfield and said the game was not too big for him, and it's obvious how well he throws the ball. But still, you can see that there is a unified message in the organization, and that is that Tyrod Taylor is still the starter. Nobody's changed their mind about that.
And part of that happened when Todd Haley was hanging upside down last night on Hard Knocks. So that was an interesting look inside of head coach Hugh Jackson's office. We'll have full coverage of the day here in Berea at cleveland.com/Browns.